Hey everybody, it's Sid Bolton, Canada's top video game collector, and today I'm very excited to be taking a look at Far Cry 5. Now, to give you a little bit of background for me, the first Far Cry that I tried was actually Far Cry 4, believe it or not, back when the PlayStation 4 was new. And I loved that game so much that I went back and I played the other games in order. So I played the original Far Cry, Far Cry 2, and of course the very exciting and very well done Far Cry 3. And since then, the only thing I've really been able to play was Far Cry Primal, that was new. And that was a good game. I really enjoyed that one as well. But now, here we are. We're in Hope County, Montana. So that's the setting of Far Cry 5. If you've been following with the trailers and any of the new sort of promo stuff, then you already know that. The game is based around having to deal with a cult. And it's a pretty interesting story. It's a commentary on some of what's going on in today's society, and of course, I know people will probably be talking about gun violence and other things like that throughout the game, and it certainly has those things. But forgetting all of that, putting that aside, and just looking at the game, one of the things that I first noticed about this game is that it both feels like a Far Cry game, and at the same time it feels fresh and new, and I was afraid that maybe it might just be sort of a reskinned Far Cry 4 because of course it's using the same engine and all that kind of stuff, but really they've done a great job of changing enough that it feels like it's a brand new game, and also in terms of how you play, it's a truly open world. So the first sort of area that you're on, which is a place called Dutch Island, once you have finished that, you are pretty much free to go anywhere and do anything. So it is truly an open world. There's 3 major regions in the game. I won't explain why that's been done sort of that way. I'm not going to spoil anything here. But basically, yeah, you can go and do things the way you want to do them. A lot of the concepts in previous Far Cries are here, like being able to bring in additional support and things like that. The guns for hire are here, but they're refined. They're done in a better way. You're able to actually have a dog companion, which is cool, and have him be part of your experience. And speaking of that, the other thing that's a big improvement here is that the entire game is playable in co-op, and I actually did experience that in my playthrough, and it was really, really great. And one of the differences between, I think it was Far Cry 4, for example, that offered a co-op feature, but it didn't count towards your single-player game. So if you're playing that single-player game, it was kind of frustrating because it was sort of like a completely isolated thing that you were doing, whereas whatever you do in co-op in this one counts for both. So that's a big improvement as far as I'm concerned, and I think that's what I find about Far Cry 5 that is the most satisfying, is that things that were perhaps a little bit mundane or troublesome, they've just been improved or refined. I find that that's truly the case. You've got the typical RPG elements. You've got things like perks now, they're called, that allow you to upgrade your skills and your abilities. And like anything, you get those as you do missions and do different things. And one of the other things that I really noticed about this game is that there's a lot less repetition, I think, than in other games. So even things like basically when you liberate an area, which was sort of a staple of Far Cry in the past, is with the camps. Even the animations where it takes you through, you've done the liberation or whatever, they're actually different for each area, which is pretty cool. And the game itself kind of pokes fun at itself early on. For example, there's an area where you get to a tower that you have to climb, and the character says to you, don't worry, you're not going to have to climb all these towers or climb a bunch of towers in the game, basically, is what he's saying. And kind of got a chuckle out of that. So there's some humor in there for people that are just thinking, oh goodness, do I have to do all this again to progress in the game? So I didn't find anything that was overly repetitive. There's an area where you have to sort of discover these hidden stashes, and I found the variety in those missions to be just, amazing. I was quite pleased with that. So overall, I am very, very pleased with this game. I am having a great time with it. I'm definitely far enough in. I haven't quite finished it yet, but I'm definitely far enough in to give a solid review for it. I've spent hours with it. I think overall the game is just so well done. It's typical Far Cry. It looks absolutely amazing. The only downside I would say that I've discovered so far is that the flying missions, while fun, I did find them pretty tough, and I don't know if that's because I'm just not good at flying missions or what it is, but I don't know. I was able to get through them. I certainly didn't have to lower the difficulty level. I played on normal or anything like that, but I did find myself having to repeat some of those sections a few times, and I get kind of frustrated when some of those things are included as part of the story missions, just because if they're tough and you're having a hard time with them, there's really no way to progress until you get that actually done. But you know what? I persevered, I got it done, and so the game, I think that's sort of a testament to the whole game. There are parts that are difficult, but never too difficult, and you just keep trying them. And again, like a typical Far Cry, if you go in, guns a-blazing, try to take down a certain area before you're really ready, it's going to be hard. If you go in a different gameplay style and maybe play stealth and take your time and think about strategically how you're going to do things, then it's not so bad. And as you, of course, build your character and get stronger, then some of these things get easier. So that's something really I have negative to say about this game, and as such, I am going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. This is available on Xbox One, PS4, and Windows, and I happen to be playing it on the Xbox One. And this is the game we were waiting for. This is for people that love Far Cry as much as I do. It's got elements of Primal in here, but not too many elements of Primal. It's got all the great stuff that we loved in Far Cry 4 and the enhancements that were made. And I think from a story perspective, we're back to where we were with Far Cry 3. So taking all those previous games, I think the team really did take all of those things to heart and tried to make a game that combined all of the things that won from those previous 3 games that I just mentioned and rolled them all into one. And that's really what a game evolution should look like. So yeah, I'm giving this a 9.5 out of 10, and thank you very much, and I hope you check this game out and enjoy your time in Hope County, Montana.